Hey, thanks for jumping on to It's Relational. This is Mike Hammer of Mike and Connie Hammer, and we are delighted to have you join us for a few moments. Connie and I love relationships. We love to talk about relationships. We love doing relationships. And we love helping other people learn how to create great relationships in their lives, also to recover and heal from wounded ones, and to reconcile with those that are still broken. So hit subscribe if you would. Do it right now if you would, and then when new content comes out, you'll be made aware of it. Now, today I want us to talk about a skill that Connie and I learned early on in our marriage, even before we had kids. I would say that it is in the top 5 of things that we did that helped us to build and create a strong and healthy marriage. I would say it's in the top 5 things that we did as well in parenting, in helping us to raise children that love to talk and love to share at the heart level. I say it's a skill because it's not something that I brought to the table. I wasn't born with this. I've always been a real internal processor. I kind of live my world up in my head and not in my heart. And what I've discovered in life is my wife, my children, they need what's in here more than they need with what's up there. See, I came from a family where we did a lot of talking, but it wasn't really from the heart level. Our conversation was a lot about, how to go today, what kind of, how's your job? Being from Wisconsin, hey, what's the latest cheese you've had? Or how about the Packers? Conversation that just really never went too deep. Connie, on the other hand, she was raised in a family. They love to talk and they love to share their thoughts and feelings. And you can imagine those two worlds colliding, what kind of issues that brought up with Connie and I. So a friend of ours, Rick Olson, dropped this seed of this skill in our minds, and it has helped us immensely. Let's get to it, all right? Here it is. This is the skill that we latched on to early on in our relationship, and it's simply this: learning how to ask great questions. Now that sounds simple, doesn't it? And it really is simple. It's not easy, but I'm telling you, when you learn this skill of asking great questions, it can take your conversations from going nowhere to going deep, or just being more meaningful than you could ever imagine. So what we did was we found some resources of great questions, and we put a bunch of these questions on just some cards. And so when we were driving down the highway, we'd pull out this little pack of questions and we'd ask that of each other. We carried these in our glove box, and our girls would, hey, let's play the question game. I'm telling you, it was so easy, and it made such a huge difference. So questions like this. Now, most of us settle for, how to go today. Think about that. We settle for that question all the time, don't we? And the thing is, you can't get a lot of stimulating conversation out of how to go today. There's got to be more. You can answer that question with one word, fine, and then the conversation is over. And there's so much more to discover about each other. And there's so much more to share from our own hearts to those that we love or that are special to us. So let me give you a few of these questions, and I'll put them on the screen here. You maybe want to take a few screenshots so that you can use these as well. So now imagine asking this question or being asked this question. How about this one? What is something that you have never done that you would like to try, and why? Now, you're going to have fun with that question. You're going to learn something about that person. You're going to get a chance to share, hey, something you've never done, but I've always wanted to go hang gliding. I've always wanted to do whatever. You're going to learn something. And then, how about this question? What is your number one goal in life? And how has it changed through the years? Goals come and go. They change with different seasons of life. Maybe you need to update those around you, or you need to be updated about what really makes that person tick. Here's some more. When was your finest hour? Everybody loves to talk about their finest hour, right? But then how about the follow-up question? How about your worst? Now you have to be a little vulnerable to answer that one from the heart. Let's try a few more. If you could rewrite the history of your life, what would you change? What would you do differently? Wow, what an opportunity to let others know about some of those things, maybe some regrets, maybe some things that you're going to desire to do from this point forward. Good, quality, healthy question. Then there's this one. With whom would you like to develop a deeper relationship with? Now, come on. Imagine, as a father asking that question and then hearing your teenager daughter say, Dad, with you. Now, that's enough to get your attention. For you to realize there's a lot more that I have to learn. There's a lot more that I don't know. And there's a lot more to discover about that person. Now, we developed questions on a kid's level as well, the ones that they can understand. And so questions like this. Justin helped Julia fix her broken bike. Tell about a time when you helped someone. Again, question that they can begin to understand and begin to communicate their thoughts and feelings. Then there's this one. Corey can never go outside and play because his legs are crippled. What are some things that you could do if Corey was your friend? Now, you'll begin to see the wheels turning in your children's heads as they think about creative ways that they could be a friend to someone like Corey. Now, we even designed questions for couples. Now, here's a great date night question. Describe your favorite way to spend an evening. Now, wouldn't you love to be asked that? And maybe if you thought about it, you'd have a response more than just, whatever you want to do. No, it's just time to maybe speak up and to let them know this would be something that would bring a lot of joy to my life. How about this question as a couple? What are some things that we did in our dating days that you wish we'd do again? Wow. You're going to discover maybe something that's been missing in your relationship. Simple things. And I guarantee it's probably the little simple things, but sometimes those mean the most. Then there's this question. Now get ready for this one. This one, it's not an easy one, and it may take a little bit of time to deal with this one. Here it is. What problem or what problems, if solved, would make the biggest difference in our relationship? Man, can you see how these questions can really turn a conversation around? Now, I know this works. Because remember the family that I came from where, we just really didn't talk about anything too deep? Well, it was the 4th of July a number of years ago, and Connie and I came to my mom and dad's hometown, or my hometown in Appleton, Wisconsin, and family was there, and we were sitting around the bonfire like we always did on the 4th of July. And we were roasting hot dogs and marshmallows and, basically talking about the weather in your part of the country versus the weather in our part of the country, conversation that wasn't really going anywhere. And this was no different. It was destined to be another night of superficial conversation until Connie and I brought out our pack of questions. And what we did was we simply passed out a question to every single person sitting around that circle. And one by one, we began to answer the question. And can I tell you that it turned into the sweetest night I can ever remember my family having together. Tears were rolling down our faces as we heard things from our parents and our siblings that we had never heard before. Our voices were quivering with emotion by the time the night was over, all because we learned the skill of asking great questions. Now, I know this can work for you too. I know this is a skill that you can learn because I had to learn it. And now when we get together as a family, what we do is we have a question of the day. And in fact, our girls now, they're grown adults, they're young women, and they're always asking, oh, hey, what's the question of the day, Dad? What's the question of the day? And usually what we do is I'll provide a question in the morning and I say, you don't have to answer it now. Take time throughout the day to think about it. And then maybe over dinner tonight, we'll go ahead and answer that question. We've had some great conversations, great growth times. I guess maybe I love it so much because there's so many things that I know God still has to do in my own heart. And sometimes I get blinded. I just too consumed with my own thoughts and feelings. But when I ask a great question, I become more aware of the people and what's going on around me. One thing that we did years ago around Thanksgiving time is we had our big meal planned, and what we did, we slipped one of these questions underneath everybody's plate. And I said, underneath your plate is a question, and throughout the course of our meal, whenever you feel ready, we're just going to go ahead and talk about whatever's on that card. You'll get just a few moments to do that, and I'm telling you what, it became a great time. Precious memories as one by one we just simply engaged in conversation, in topics, in a depth level that, we never would have done it. It had been just a normal Thanksgiving time. Now, we had questions there that were somewhat light, that didn't dig too deep to scare anybody away. Question like, hey, what's your hobby? What's your, what is one of your greatest holiday memories? So to kind of keep it a little bit light. But I'm telling you, we were crying, we were sharing from the heart, and it became such a sweet time. So again, it's really a very simple concept, but it can take your relationship to a whole new level when you simply begin to learn the skill of learning to ask great questions. I hope this was helpful. And again, we'll post some more helpful content, so make sure you subscribe, and then you'll be aware of new information coming out. God bless you.